Of everybody. Go this way, Mama. Go this way. This way. You're at 5 months. Finally pull them out the closet and wear them.
Do they see you? Hey, Chad, your daughter was much easier to get up and down. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm certain of it. We'll get you some help. Yeah. We couldn't find 4C, so we chose the 4C. There's other floor jacks if you want them. Hey, that's a piece for back jacks. Okay. My legs.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll do the same thing we do every Shabbat, taking a moment of silence, thinking about what the last week has been like, the highs, the lows, what you'd like to carry with you into the next 24 hours, and what you'd like to leave behind. There's something positive that's happened in your life or in the life around you that you'd like to bring into this space, we'd love to hear it. Go ahead, Ed.
I cut back to 4 days a week. This could be my last working Friday ever.
Last working Friday ever. Serena, yes. Youngest son turns 16 and driving. That's awesome. Go ahead, Debbie.
30 of us had museums, and our tour guide was Werner Koppel's son.
So 30 of us went to the Holocaust Center in Humanity, and the tour guide was Werner Koppel, who brought us this Torah son. It's beautiful. Yes, Gail.
There were over 30 of us on Sunday here for the Rabbi's Judaism 101 class.
So we had 42 here on Sunday, yes, and we did Harosa together, and we are making like amazing views by our first gefilte fish tasting by some of our people. She's waving, just the star, yes, they're all clapping. What else? Yes, tell us, Ryan.
Healing rather nicely from a pretty major surgery.
Healing, going well. I know it's amazing that you're here, so we're so happy here from a major surgery. Proud of you. Yes, Larry?
I'm celebrating my youngest bride's birthday.
Youngest bride's birthday. Are there multiple brides?
It's irrelevant, isn't it?
Yes, it's relevant. What else? Anything else? Yes, Esther. Mueller sent his report. Yes, I think yes. We don't know what's in it yet. Soon. Jenny Costello.
I just want to say that I feel very good that Forum is over and that it's great music. So if you didn't make it, the precedent's been set. Next year's going to be even better.
An awesome celebratory program with great musicians and actors. Yes, and great. What? Anything else? Well, we're going to move into guests and welcoming guests, and so I just want to wave. This is Bailey and Ben. Do you see them? Yes, they're very excited that you're here. Celebrating the whole weekend together. Yes, we want to see you. It's good. Are there any other guests in this space who haven't been here in a while who would like to introduce themselves? And if you don't, you don't have to go ahead. Steve from Connecticut. Glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Anyone else want to introduce? Oh, yes. Go ahead.
I'm Lisa Gregg, and I brought my daughter Elena with me.
Welcome, Lisa, and you're part of the Benjamin family.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the way from Blue Ash.
All the way from deep blue ash. Anyone else want to introduce? You don't have to. No. I just want to welcome our online community that even though you're not in our physical space right now, we acknowledge you and we celebrate with you. And we feel so blessed that you want to be part of this worship experience with us. So thank you for being here. And we feel your energy through this camera, and we hope that you feel ours. You probably know our band by now, but just want that we're so lucky to bring part of our Just Love band into this space to bring some of that Just Love experience into Shabbat. And we'll introduce their names at the end of it. But as we go into this next part, we have some ringers. If you're a ringer, could you please raise your hand? So these are plants that are now identified as plants. We noticed that the last time we tried this experience, you didn't sing. And that's just not very sholomi of you. So we want you to sing Even if you're not quite sure of the words, even if you're not quite sure of the tune, it's new for almost everyone in this room. Rich wrote all the music that we're singing. So it's based in traditional liturgy of Jewish liturgy. Those are the words are coming from that, but the songs are new to everyone, except for Rich. So he wrote them all. But so some of you came a little bit early so that you could learn it and that you could sing loudly in that space. So if you hear someone singing loudly and well, that's your buddy. And so that's to encourage you to sing and feel comfortable in that space too. And if you want to come learn to sing loudly and well the next time, we invite you to do that. So we're going to go back into Hine Matov, celebrating and acknowledging the joy of being together. Welcome Debbie Moffat up to light the Shabbat candles and welcome Shabbat formally.
Before I light these, I wanted to mention that we're celebrating my mother's yard site, but it is, as looking around this room and listening to the music, I can think that my mother is hearing us because she would have loved this kind of event. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav tzivanu l'shad shel Shabbat.
You are
don't know about you, but I'm in this season of my life right now where it just feels like I'm going, and then I wake up and I'm going, and then I wake up and I'm going, and in fact, my mind is still going when I'm sleeping, and it's still going, and I wake up to the going. And we're entering this Torah book that's all about that, like keep doing, and we live in a culture in America that celebrates that celebrates our lives that are based on achievement, and that if I do X, then I'll get Y. Or if I do Z, then I'll be seen as Y. And that what we can accomplish is the same thing as what our value is in the world. And I believe that's sort of the sick part of the American dream. And it's not wrong, right? It's not wrong that if we do, we might get more of stuff. That's fairly accurate if all things are equal. I just don't know what happens then about peripheral achievements or non-traditional doings or the kind of work that happens that has nothing to do with the workplace when we don't think about it as real work, but is absolutely real work. Do those people or those actions have value then, if it's not in that list? Or the opposite, those of us who are high achievers in a specific traditional workplace where we have checklists and then more checklists and more checks on that checklist, and then we start thinking, or I'll just say I start thinking, okay, I can check this off, but I didn't actually do it fully, and so it's not enough, and this is not enough, and this is not enough, and then you keep saying not enough, that it becomes I am not enough. That even with the checklists in a workplace, or even if the work that you do isn't seen as traditionally, professionally high achievement work, that in the end, when you see the world that way, it depletes our natural sense of self-worth. So if we're actually supposed to believe what our faith teaches us, that we are made b'tselem Elohim, we're made in the image of God, and that we are a beloved child of God, if we're going to believe that, then we have to then choose to see ourselves through that lens of love and abundance. And then hopefully that translates to the way I see other people. And then if you're doing that, then all the have-tos in life become a lie. They're not have-tos, they're I choose tos, which doesn't make it any easier. I can choose to and it still feels like a have-to, but it's still a choice. And then I can then understand that what I'm telling myself is my own lie so that I stay on a hamster wheel, running on this checklist hamster wheel that keeps me achieving at this level. And trust me, I am not anti-productivity. I live and breathe it. But I'm becoming really intolerant of seeing our productivity as a measure of personal self-worth or a measure of our innate value of human beings. So Shabbat, Sabbath, is this opportunity for people, specifically the Jewish faith, but of many faiths, to exit the rat race, that compulsive need to achieve that we associate with self-worth and personal value with some checklists. The Sabbath is supposed to be 24 hours, but it might just be the 45 minutes you spend in this space. And it's this moment where we say, I'm actually going to choose to not think of my life as a measure of checklists and things I've done and things I haven't done. But I'm going to measure my life by what actually matters, which is love and compassion and justice, which can never get checked off a list. There's never enough love. You've never expressed enough compassion. You've never done enough justice. Those things just never get off the list. Someone needs you who you love. It doesn't matter what time it is. You're going to answer. And that doesn't mean it won't hurt you or deplete you. But if you don't answer that might actually change the way you see yourselves in the world. I believe that seeing the world through that lens of valuing people and ourselves by the lens of love and compassion and justice is a way of measuring value according to the way we expect God to measure value. That this gift of Shabbat is about awakening out of the lie of the rest of the week, which we've got to do. We got to get up and go to work. We got to do the work, whatever we do in our lives. I don't care if it's cleaning the cat litter or showing up to check a box, whatever it is, you got to do that work. But Shabbat, you get to awaken out of the lie and into the real life of abundant life, out of scarcity into the abundance, and just break from the cell phone and measuring your life against other people, break from judgments and needs, and awake to spirit. The prayer that we do to welcome Shabbat is Lachadodi. Most of you know that. And it's interesting, I always introduce it the same way. I say, let's stand up and welcome Shabbat as if she were a bride. And then some very wise person a couple weeks ago goes, what does that actually mean? Like, is this a wedding? Like, who's getting married? Who's the bride? Like, that's super weird, Miriam. And I was like, yeah, that's super weird. I don't know what it means. I've been saying it for 15 years. And so I started looking at this when Rich and I were talking about we need something that welcomes. That's different than Hinei Matov. We looked at this prayer. And in Lachadodi, in the 5th verse, so you're not going to really know it actually, there's this line that says, Uri, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kavod Adonai Alayich Nigla. Arise, shine, awake, and sing. The Eternal's glory dawns upon you. And for me, that's that word of awakening, that Sabbath is actually a waking up from the slumber of checklists into do's and have-tos, and into a lens of choice. To just choose for this moment that I'm going to sing even though I suck. Or I'm going to be patient with children's noises even though it annoys me. Or I'm going to eat something that I don't normally eat because it fulfills me in this way. Whatever it is, to just choose for 1 hour, or in a Jewish person's case, 24 hours, where I just pretend the way the world is the way I hope it is. So I'm going to say those words again so that you know it. And then Rich is going to help us sing this song, or we're all going to help sing the song about awakening up to Sabbath and possibility. So the words are Uri, Uri, Shir Daberi, Kavod Adonai, Alayich Nigla. If you can't do it all, just do Uri, Uri, you'll be fine. Okay.
Uri, Uri, Shirabe, Kavad Adonai, Alayich Nigla. Uri, Uri, Shirabe. Uri, Uri, Shiraberi. Uri, Uri, Shiraberi.
continue with Shema, and we're just going to focus on that one word of Shema, of both listening and hearing, listening to what our soul is needing from us in this moment. As we rejoice in being together and awakening to this space, we think about the need for healing and peace in this world, the wholeness that's so necessary for what's happening right now. And it can be as large as what's happening on our borders, and as large as also as what's happening in our own hearts, that each has value and need in its own way and attention that's necessary. The prayer we're going to do for this part is based on the words that Moses cries out for his sister. It's the first prayer that anyone says for someone else. El na rafanala, God, please heal her. I always imagine it as a scream, but maybe it's just a whisper. Both for the pain of what his sister is going through, and also for the pain of the caregiver. What it takes to hold space, what it takes to sit bedside. what it takes to be present in the face of hardship, that both those in need of caring and those caregivers are intertwined in this process. So in this space, we think about those who are in need of healing in body, mind, and spirit, those in hospital beds and nursing facilities and in their own homes, those struggling with deep grief, addiction, difficult decisions. That we include everyone who is part of healing, doctors and nurses and therapists and caregivers and family and friends, in this prayer for healing as well. If you'd like to mention someone who's in need of healing or share your own name, we'll go over here, and anyone who'd like to share a name may do so.
Tracy Tower, Erica Bush.
Mary Louise Paddock. Sue Back. Darrell Coleman. Alondra Leah, Patty Johnson. Stephen Winnick. Myrna Kaplan, Earlding Nicholson, Jackson Bachman. Martin Miller. Gregor Cox, Nellie Miller.
Roberta Applebaum, Barry Ostern, Judy Avner, Mira Barner, Marcy Bine, Corinne Belford, Sheila Boniface, Loretta Hubbard, Chavalea, Tricia Farver, Esther Seema, Dr. Merrill Goldman, Ethan Kadish, Gita Knudsen, Skylar Kunz, Yael Kraus, Janet Kravitz, Lee Krinick, Elaine Heightfield, Tony Janitas, Ira Lerner, Lou Levy, Joan Lieb, Marcy Maxwell, Rhoda Meyer, Eileen Ness, Nancy Newmark, Phil Ryan, David Rose, Betty Roth, Bob Rubin, Aaron Reuter, Karen Schwartz, Iris Sham, Archbishop Chuck Smith, Lisa Steele, Mary Stanton, Francis Sternberg, Mejia Stoneman, Lou Strauss, Susie Warschauer, Ann White, Haroldine Ukelson, Fran Victor, Chaim Ben Yaakov, and Nachama. We include everyone who we mentioned out loud, those we hold in our hearts, and everyone in this space, because we're all in a journey towards healing and wholeness in some way. We continue with Elna Rafana La.
Now,
we take a few moments for silence, the words of our hearts. I welcome up Robin Miller, our president, to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank everyone for coming here today for our Shabbat-ish service. Rabbi Turlenchamp, what a beautiful service. The Just Love Band, how beautiful your music is and how moving it is. Thank you, Micah, for doing the sound today. And thank you to my husband, Fred, for being an usher, and for Debbie Moffat for lighting candles. We're a unique congregation, and we are so blessed to have you all be with here. And we're doing so many exciting things, and hopefully we'll have some new people with us soon. I just want to point out a couple things on the announcements. Quinquennial Shabbat is coming up. So if you don't know what that is, because it was a little confusing to me at first, if your anniversary ends in a 5 or a 0, you're invited. You're brought up on the bima, you get a special blessing, and it's really a very nice service, and even if it isn't your anniversary, it's nice to celebrate with others. So we encourage you to come on April the 5th. Now, the next event is something that I really enjoyed. I've gone to several of them, and it's really a unique experience. Rabbi Turlenchamp developed this as a Freedom Seder. Now you think, there's a lot of Passover, there's a lot of Seder. No, this is a unique experience. This is an opportunity to pray with others, to let them know what Passover is, but also make it relevant to current times. We don't get a meal. You just get some eggs and some charosis, maybe an orange or two. Don't plan on dinner. You're going to have to nosh later. But it is a wonderful event, and I highly encourage Jenny, Mark me, and Fred down. We'll be there. Okay, now, Stuart Kirshner is doing this Brotherhood event on Earth Day. So for those people who like to be outdoors, not me, but if you like to bicycle, you like to hike, this is an event for you. And then we will be having a second Seder. We will be doing it at a temple. It will be limited to only 50 people. I know that the invitations are not out yet. They will be coming shortly, but it is a limited event. I have never attended, but I heard that it is very nice. So if you are interested, please sign up early once you get the invitation. So Shabbat Shalom, and thank you all for being here. Now for the community prayer. May Adonai, the source of life, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless this entire congregation at Temple Shalom, together with the synagogues in Cincinnati and all holy congregations in this world. Bless our community, our children, our families, and all that is theirs, along with those who unite to establish synagogues for prayer, those who enter them to pray, those who devote countless hours of their lives so that our synagogue may be a thriving place of spiritual welcoming. May the Holy One reward those who contribute to our community with healing, forgiveness, and personal strength. May God bless them by prospering all their worthy endeavors, as well as all those of the entire people of Israel. And let us say, Amen.
Special thank you to Rich Hordinsky for your gifts and of music, and also just your attention to detail in our congregation. This is Zach here. This is Terrell. This is Baba Charles. This is Aprina and Elsa. And then you know Micah in the back making music or streaming and all our sound. This is complicated. A special thank you to Jenny and to Batya and to Laura and to Julie. It's been a long week, and thank you for always making Sholem what it is. We shul and then we fuel. So this is called shul for those who don't speak Yiddish, and fuel, you know what that means. So tonight it's at Truva Cafe. Gail, could you please raise your hand? That's your docent for eating. Because Bailey and Ben are here with us today, we actually made a reservation in advance, so we're way on top of it. So we're all set, so just head on down there, a large group, everyone can eat, and we hope that you'll join us afterwards, and there's still more nosh afterwards. So we're going to, I'm sorry, this is Magnolia. Yeah? Hi, Magnolia. So, okay, all right, so we'll just do this part up here. In part of the morning process, when you're doing creative services like this, it's really hard to figure out what you have to keep and what you can expand on, what offers comfort and what challenges you. And it's hard when you're expecting to sing Vishamru the same way you always do, and that's not what happens. And so Rich and I talked a lot about this part of the service, which is the concluding part, the part that we honor those who are no longer with us, the anniversaries of the passing, and the way that we do that. And this is going to feel different. And part of it is that we're used to, in funerals or when we're processing our grief, doing a traditional psalm, which is Psalm 23. And when we looked at it, my favorite line is, Lo ira ra ki ata imadi. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And so first we created this song based on Ki Ata Imadi. Want to try that? Ki Ata Imadi. Oh, so good. Just for you are with me. And then we're going to weave in this time, we're going to weave in Lo Ira Ra. Lo Ira Ra. It's kind of a tongue twister. That's I just won't fear. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to read Psalm 23 in Hebrew and then in English, and then we'll do the traditional morning. And as you rise, we'll be able to give you some copies. I have some copies for you. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo achzar, binodeshet yarbit seini, alme menuchot yanhaleni, nafshi yoshvev yancheni vegmaglet tzedek leman shemo. Gam ki elach betzetzel mavet lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Shiftacha umishantacha hema yanachamuni. Ta'aruch lefanai shulchan neged arai. Tishanta v'shem en roshi kosi ravayai. Ach tov v'chesed yerdefuni kol yemei chayai. V'shavti b'beit Adonai la'orach yamim. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We mourn the recent passing of Mel Hudson, beloved father of Mike Hudson. And we commemorate the yard sites, the anniversaries of the passing of Jake Klein, Barry Siegel, Rose Felkner, Krista Glassman, Harry Fearman, Dr. Oliver Roth, Boris Koppen, Don Shear, Martin Gould, David Corris, Saul Asness, Nellie Shear, Jerry Sugarman, Lillian Benson. If you'd like to contribute to the list of people we're remembering, please share those names now.
Percy Williams. Francis Crackles.
If you are mourning or commemorating a yard site, please rise first. We acknowledge you. We think about your loss. And we remember with fondness the people who've blessed your lives. And we rise together as a community in memory of all those we've mentioned out loud, those we hold in our house, and for all those who have known to say Kaddish for them. If you need a copy, please raise your hand and we'll pass them out. That's far. Okay. Thanks, John. We'll wait a second. As the copies are going out for those who need them, we'll chant the traditional prayer of affirmation, reminding ourselves that even in loss, we are affirming life. And then we'll go into a singing version of Ki Ata Imadi from Psalm 23. Yitkadal v'kadash me'raba v'yalmad divrach chirete v'yamlich machute v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedecho be'Yisrael bagala v'zman kari v'imru Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Ome Omaya Yitzbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitzba'ar V'Yitramam V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalal Shmei Kedusha Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'Shirata Tishbechata V'Nechamata Ta'amiram V'Alma V'Imru Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chayim Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael V'Imru Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Huya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael V'Imru. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories continue to be a blessing. Please be seated as we continue with Ki Ata Imadi.
Ki
some juice and some challah bread. That the reason that we l'chaim, that we celebrate life with fruit of the vine, is to acknowledge the moment as holy. And since we're all in community together today for this brief hour, to just acknowledge the holiness of the moment with a short prayer. And so we're going to do the wine, or I guess the juice in this case. It's all juice and bread. And then, as you're passing out with all these helpers, this musical instrument here is called a harmonium. And I've had harmonium envy for like 2 years, so I'm so excited it's finally made it in. Yeah, go ahead, pass that. All right, so we're going to bless for wine as it's coming around. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Then the bread's coming around, the challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min haaretz. So now you've celebrated this moment as holy with your juice, however delicious that was. And then breaking bread makes us friends. So if you can pass back whatever you need to pass back. We're going to sing that Awake, Awake song again, the Uri, Uri song again. A little bit with a little verb. You think you got the Uri, that we're awakening to the moment and going back out into the Sabbath with that joy. And before we go out to our dinner at Truva, hopefully, and out into the rest of our evening and whatever comes in the next 24 hours, if you could connect with one another to receive a blessing. If you're not a toucher, just say, I'm not a toucher. If you're online, you put your hands out. Whatever works in this moment to feel like you can receive blessing. There's lots of non-touchers here today. Yivrechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav alecha v'chunecha. May Adonai's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom. When you feel God's light upon you, may it bring you courage and strength and wellness, a lack of checklists, and a whole lot of love and justice, and peace. And we need you in this world. So together we say Amen and Shabbat Shalom.